Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Katrina Boyer, and I'm the training coordinator at the Small Business Development Center, also known as the SBDC, here at the North Idaho College. The SBDC is funded and supported by the Small Business Administration, the state of Idaho, and North Idaho College. So it's through that funding and support that we're able to provide you with a no-cost coaching and a lot of other supports and resources for small business owners. The SBDC here has a staff of 8 coaches. They're retired executives and seasoned business professionals that collectively have more than 250 years of business experience. We have coaches that specialize in all areas of business, including digital marketing, manufacturing, business sales, and government contracting. Our mission here at the Small Business Development Center is to accelerate business success, and we're invested in our mission in economic development and job creation of North Idaho. We're focused on helping small businesses navigate the waters and avoid mistakes that are commonly made by business owners. So we're glad you're here today. And let's see if I can get my screen to move. Here we go. Today, our webinar is Starting a Business in Idaho. We're going to talk a little bit about the resources that you'll need as you begin or consider this path of starting a business in Idaho. And if you have any questions along the way, just go ahead and put them in the chat box, and we can answer them there. And if, or by the end of our visit today, we'll make sure you have your question answered or get you with a coach that can help you with whatever it is that you need. I'd like to start by using the chat box. If everyone could just put in the chat box, maybe what you're looking for in the webinar today, what you're most wanting to get out of it, what you're hoping to come away with. And I'll have Bill, if you see anything in that chat box. I'm not sure how to view the chat box here at the same time, so if you'll help me out with that. There we go. Okay, we'll take a look at that in just a second here. I'm gonna have to stop sharing for a second here. I've got my share's not working out right. Sorry, bear with me for just a minute. I'm not sure why my screen's not moving.
Katrina, sometimes the PowerPoint, you need to click a number of times for it to actually get going sometimes.
It appears to be stuck in some way. Okay. Okay, we'll try sharing it again. All right. Here we go. This is what we're going to talk about today. Why become a business owner? Some of the ups and downs of being a business owner, the different ways you can get into business, and how to prepare for success. We'll talk a little bit about skills assessments so you'll know what it will take. how to build a successful team, and where to find some resources. And then after all of this we'll talk about what you could do next after today. So we'll talk a little bit about the good and the bad, and maybe not get into any of the ugly. I heard a term, uninformed optimism, that seems to describe a lot of entrepreneurs at the beginning stages. It's a level of excitement and anticipation and jubilation that one feels at the beginning of a new idea or a venture. And it's an overly positive phase, or a honeymoon period, if you will, where you have that really great idea, it's really exciting, and sometimes it's hard to think about maybe what challenges you might face. It's hard to think about anything besides being just a really super fantastic, exciting time. But we're going to talk a little bit about the upsides and the downsides so that you have a clear picture of what the path looks like, and you can manage those expectations for yourself and for your business and set yourself up for success. At this stage, it's really important to take some time to investigate and to educate yourself and to plan. So that's what we'll talk a little bit about today. You're here because you're interested in starting a business, and we're here to help you do that, to make sure that you have the information that you need. So what is it that most entrepreneurs find most attractive about starting a business? Or you can ask yourself, what do you find most attractive about starting your own business? So you can really understand your own motivations for going into business, and that we can help you get started down that path. So the upsides, a lot of people look at the freedom to make their own decisions and be their own boss as a huge advantage to starting a business. Also, finding greater job satisfaction in working for yourself. Sometimes maybe you're bored at work, or think that you'd get a lot more out of the efforts that you put into for something that you started on your own, something that you're doing on your own. Maybe there's a great demand for your idea or your innovation, something that's really going to make life better for people that you can share with the world. Entrepreneurs are also viewed as having the wealth and job security that you would desire, and a greater growth potential than maybe a standard 8-to-5 job working for somebody else. Risk takers, entrepreneurs enjoy taking on new risks. It's exciting. It's a new adventure. There's some downsides though. And this is where we hope to move from uninformed optimism to an informed optimism. Nobody really thinks to themselves, hey, I have this great idea and here's the things that are wrong with it. But it's important to know what the hurdles are so you're prepared to get over those. So let's look at some of the downsides. You're still not going to be your own boss. I mean, a lot of the decisions, they're all going to be up to you, but at the same time, your customer is going to be your boss. You still have someone that you're going to answer to. You're going to be assuming all the financial risks. So you need to be prepared to fund or finance your venture. Asking for money or grants right at the beginning isn't, generally there's not a lot of grants, money that people are handing out to someone who hasn't started a business, who hasn't proven a track record or have a viable business plan in place. A startup, it's hard to get money handed to you for something like that. So if less than 2 years old is considered a startup, you're going to need to show some ability to run a business or a really solid business plan. There's an example of like a specialty pie shop, and they wanted to have a brick and mortar location. Before they did that, they showed it was a viable business plan by selling a lot of pop-ups and farmers markets for about 2 years before they went for the funding for a brick and mortar storefront. The hours are long and hard. The freedom and flexibility that business owners dream about is often years down the road. It comes at a price. You only get paid if the business makes money. Federal minimum wage does not apply to business owners, and it's not against the law for a business owner to work for free. Many of them do. Your income's not steady for some time. And sometimes you may find that you're not doing something that you love. While business owners have a trade and skill that they're really good at and love, Owning a business has a lot of other parts and pieces to it. So you'll end up doing things like accounting or business or management of inventory, managing employees. So what do you see as your biggest challenge? You can ask yourself, what would be your biggest challenge that you'll want to overcome? There's a lot of different ways you can get into business here in Idaho. The common entry strategies you have are, you could buy an existing business, purchase or start a franchise, start up a new business altogether, or work in a part-time business while you've got your regular daytime job. There's going to be advantages and disadvantages to both. The advantages of buying an existing business is there's a shorter lead time to get started. There's an established track record. You've already got the businesses, the customers and suppliers in place. And there's even a previous owner. If you're buying a business from someone, you can have that previous owner stick around as a mentor. In fact, that should be part of the conversation in the purchase. Disadvantages, you're going to have higher upfront costs. You're going to be paying for not just an inventory or location, but the sweat equity and everything that that business owner has put in to cultivate those customers and to establish all the processes that they use. Your creativity may be limited in that you're likely going to have to do everything the way that's consistent with how it's been done. Customers have expectations that you'll want to continue to meet. So it may not be something that you can just make into your own right away. And also you're going to buy whatever problems the business has are going to come along with it as well. So things that you may need to address right away. If you're buying a franchise, there's an easier entry into the business. You've already got a built-in brand awareness. A few years ago, there was a rumor that there was going to be a Chick-fil-A in Hayden or Coeur d'Alene, and community members were pretty excited about that. So the brand awareness was already there and recognized it and excited for that to come in. Turned out to be a rumor, but you can just see the power of brand awareness there. Marketing and support systems are already in place. They want you to be successful. So you're going to have a pretty good support system from the corporate office, and they do some advertising. The disadvantages are going to be that there's going to be high upfront capital. You're paying quite a bit for that name. You're paying upfront for that marketing, for those support and systems in place. And you're going to continue to pay through royalty fees. You can start your own business. This is if you have your own idea or something that you're passionate about, you want to start your very own business from scratch. Everything you put into this business is something that you're going to benefit from. So it's all you, and you get to reap all those benefits from that. The disadvantages are that starting from scratch, you're going to be cutting your own path through the wilderness. There's experiences that you may be lacking in certain areas. As we talked about, there's business owners that have a skill that they're really good at, but it doesn't mean that they have all the skills of running a business that would be necessary. And there's a higher risk of failure to a startup. Part-time business is a great way to supplement your income, get extra cash, or have a safety net for if things change on your existing business, your existing job. It's also a great way to do some feasibility testing testing your market for your product. If you're making soap part-time and it's taking off really well, that might be it's a great way to decide if it's something you can move into full-time because you've tested your market, you've already cultivated some customers. That's a great way to start a stepping stone into a full-time business. And there's a lot of personal satisfaction in doing your own thing. The challenges are you only have so much time. You've got work and family commitments already. So if you've already got a job and you're doing something part-time, there may be conflict there. And you have only so much time to devote to an outside venture outside of whatever your day job is. And if you have a part-time job that you're feeding with financially supporting and it's not bringing anything back, that ends up being more of a hobby than a business. So if we do a little reality check, you've heard the statistics for small business owners, how many small businesses fail. Recent search that I did shows from the Small Business Administration, it's about 20% that fail in the first year, which was lower than I thought. But as you get to 5 years, it's closer to the 50% in the first 5 years. 82% fail due to financial issues. So that cash flow piece, which is so important. So why do businesses fail? Well, first of all, one way is not investigating the market. If you've always wanted to open a real estate business and you finally have the means to do so, you're so excited to do so, you move ahead without recognizing that housing market is in a downturn at that moment, or the particular area that you're interested in is already saturated with agencies. Those are things that need to be investigated before you put the time and money and effort into starting that business. Another reason businesses fail is just having business plan problems, not a really good solid business plan. Your plan is important. It's the foundation of your business. And it's through your plan that you can anticipate problems that you're going to have, or you can anticipate how you're going to overcome those problems. Once you have a plan, you should stick with it. Unless there's a real problem with your plan, you should stick with the plan we've made. Another reason that businesses fail is too little financing. You have that cash flow problem. If you've started a company and things aren't working out really well, you have little capital and you start struggling, that's not the best time to be asking for additional funding. So if you're realistic at the beginning and you can plan the amount of funding that you'll need in a realistic manner, then you'll be in a much better position to continue through that time of not making money to get through to the time where your business actually is making money. Another reason is not using financials properly. We have several classes. We have classes on this included in our accelerated business series about how to use your financials. It's important for you to know exactly what the true cost of goods is and the cost of delivering those goods to your customers. You need to know the true profit margins that you have so that you're not creating those cash flow problems for yourself. A bad location or bad marketing. This includes an internet presence. If you're not on the internet in this day and age, you're not going to be able to conduct business in a reasonable manner that people expect. I had several years ago, I'd worked for a magazine, a print magazine. It was a startup. They were super excited about getting off the ground. Not interested at all in a digital presence, but because they weren't interested in a digital presence and digital was the way that people were going at that time, they ended up closing their doors in 2 years. Also having a fixed mindset, again, not wanting to move into a digital presence when that was what was necessary. With a growth mindset, you'll be able to be on top of key trends that will allow you to make the adjustments that your business needs to make to keep up with how the industry is moving. You can look at video rental stores like Blockbuster or newspapers with their help wanted ads. They missed some key indicators and lost a whole lot of market because that whole industry was changing. COVID was a great example of having being able to pivot in your business. We had businesses that pivoted quickly, and they were not just able to survive, but really thrive in that environment and do well. Again, there was a pie shop was selling pies to tourists, but when the market changed, when COVID hit and everything was in lockdown, they started selling pot pies, dinner pies, takeaway for locals through a drive-through. The dance classes and art classes that went online. another way of showing how you could pivot. And then expanding too fast. Once you get to your business is making money and you want to expand, that needs to be done at a pace that's going to be, you need to scale it so that you can do so in a way that it's not going to take all of your cash. So entrepreneurship is risky. There's no way to eliminate all the risks. How do you improve your chances of success? Well, that's what we're here to help you with, help you prepare. And we're going to talk about that next. How do we prepare? You can take some assessments of yourself and of your business idea. Take some time to really sit down and write down. Lots of people list this in your head, but it's really powerful exercise if you can write down on paper some of the ways in which you can assess yourself and your business idea. If you, in a personal assessment, you could ask yourself, if you're determined to do all that's needed to start this business. We had a business owner come in and was really wanting to start a new business so that she could have more time with her family and more flexibility because her current job was too demanding on her time. And as we sat down and talked about what her business venture, what it would take as far as time commitment, it was kind of an eye-opener with, oh, that may take just as much or more time than I'm trying to scale back in this area and trying to scale back in. So it was an opportunity to reevaluate that plan. Is this something you're really passionate about? Do you really feel that this idea or product that you have is something that you need to bring to the world, that the world really needs to have, and you can provide it better than anybody else? Those are the things that are going to be able to get you through times where everything's not working out the way you expected it to. Do you have specific experience for this business? If you jump into a business in which you have no experience in that area, that's going to be a really large learning curve. Do you have the energy and health for starting a business? It's something that takes a lot of stamina. I've had people say, I really need to start my own business because I have a hard time showing up to work every day. And just know that it's something that's going to take a lot of hours, a lot of, and can be stressful for you. If you do a skill assessment, assess the skills that you have. You can do that by reviewing your past achievements, look at your work positions, some of the things you do in your free time, classes you've taken, even community service that you've done will give you an insight into some skills that you've picked up along the way. And as you review those achievements, look at how successful were you in them? In what areas did you struggle? In what areas did you see problems? And how did you overcome and complete those problems? As you're looking in your past, what kinds of things would you do differently? And evaluate specifically your business skills. Do you have some marketing skills? Are you good at marketing, but closing the sale is really difficult? Those are some things to sit down and ask yourself, maybe so you'll have an idea of where you're going to need to bring in some help. And then assess your lifestyle. What are your aspirations in your lifestyle? What are your expectations? What kinds of things are you willing to change? Are you willing to put in 60 to 80 hours a week? Think about, I know a business owner who's really successful today. He's very successful, has this business that reaches across several states. He's got several managers in place, and he enjoys financial freedom and a lot of flexibility in his work schedule, the kind of things that entrepreneurs look to and think, yeah, that's the lifestyle that I'm looking for. But early on, when he first started the business, there was a lot of sacrifice in putting in 60 to 80 hours a week or more. There were a lot of events that he and his family skipped out on and put the business first. And that was something they had to do for several years to get to this point. You'll want to make sure you have support of your family. It's going to mean maybe no vacations for a couple of years, depending on your level of commitment to your business. Also, do you have another source of income? This is something that we always ask when business owners come to us, because it's a huge indicator of future success. Things may not go the way that you expect right at first, and things may not happen for some time. It's going to take some time to get it off the ground. So you'll need to Be sure you can live without your income or pay your bills in some way for up to 2 years. So let's look at your product, your idea, and gauge the feasibility. What's the big problem that you're out to fix? You need to solve some sort of problem that people are having if they're going to purchase your service or your product. And ask yourself, who is it that has this big problem? The big problem is, if it's something that everybody has, that's going to be spreading yourself really, really thin. You need to be able to differentiate yourself in some way and target a market. Look to see, label who is your competition, list your competition, figure out who they are, how much competition is out there, and is there a growth potential for your idea? If this is something that's new and a growing business, see how much growth potential there is that exists, or if it's an older idea that's been around for some time. Also, can you monetize it? Is it something that you're going to be able to actually make money doing? How are you going to keep your customers coming back over and over? And ask yourself if you can afford to do this business now or in the future. So be sure to test and validate all of your assumptions. So there's a lot of risks. Ask yourself how to offset your risks. You can go out and gain experience about the business. We often have people come to us wanting to start a business after they've been working in the business for 2 or more years. Identify what skills your business is going to need, and get the training that you're lacking. When you did your skills assessment, if you see where you don't have any experience, be sure you go and get that training or figure out how to hire that out. So analyze what weaknesses you have and work towards your strengths. I'm going to check really quick. We have what kind of research do you need to ensure you have every chance of success? Okay, we're going to talk about research in just a few minutes. We're going to go on to funding, the funding that you're going to need and how you find that funding. So you're going to have some startup capital. No matter what it is you're doing, you're going to have something to start up with. So earmark some funds, figure out how much it is that you're going to need, and earmark those funds for your startup capital, whether it's getting your initial licenses or website or registering your business. There's no guarantee that your business will make money right away. So you need to be able to set aside the funding that will keep you going for about 6 months, so that you can get yourself to the point where your business will be making some money. But have that money set aside, be able to pay your bills for at least 6 months before you start. And lots of people ask us, where do you find funding? Okay, I need money, where am I going to get it? You can look to your own savings, ask family or friends. There's some non-traditional neighborhood funding, like the Panhandle Area Council or Craft 3. Those are non-banks, non-traditional bank funding that are in the area. And then you do have your commercial banks that do SBA guaranteed loans. If you're not sure where to start with that, again, we have coaches that can help you prepare for applying for funding. Although tempting, cash advances on a credit card are highly discouraged. If you have a good support system, you'll be better off set for success. It's difficult to start and run a successful business without the support of your loved ones. So make sure your spouse or partner is with you and that your children are behind you, so that they understand what it is you're jumping into and where they're going to need to pick up the slack. Gain the support of friends and experts that can help you. And you'll need a professional group of people to assist you. It's a great time to look at what What are those extra skills that you're going to have access to? An accountant, whether you do your own bookkeeping or you hire someone to do your bookkeeping, at some point you're going to want to visit with an accountant on your taxes and other financial aspects of your business. An attorney. When you spend time with an attorney at the beginning to get things set up properly, you can save yourself a lot of time and money in the end. At this point, I'd like to just put in a plug for next week. We have a webinar with a local business attorney. It's a great time if you've got some legal questions. It's a great time. They'll do some question answer at the end, but that's how to overcome legal pitfalls in business that can be signed up for on our website. But I would definitely suggest visiting with an attorney at some point along the way. You'll want to visit with a banker. The importance of having a close relationship with your banker was evident during the first few months of the pandemic last year when they rolled out the payroll protection and the EIDL loans. There was a small window of application, and people that had a relationship with their banker were able to get in, get those applications done, get the information down that they needed to, and get that funding quickly that they needed. It's important to visit with an insurance agent. There's a lot of insurance needs that you'll want to look at. You'll need to know what coverage will be best to protect yourself and your business. And that includes like a liability insurance, but beyond that, protecting your tools or investments, your equipment, maybe what kind of auto insurance extensions you're going to need, insurance for your home office, or also disruption or disability insurance if you're not able to come to work. So there's a lot of different insurance things to consider. And you'll benefit greatly from having a business mentor, someone that's in the business community, that's been down the road you've been down before. If you have a business that you're purchasing, that would be a prior business owner. And it could be a business coach here at the SBDC. When you get to registering your business in Idaho and you choose yourself a business name, you can search for the availability name of that name, so you don't take the name somebody else is already using. You can search for that on sos.idaho.gov. And you can, as you decide what your business structure is going to be, again, that's something you can visit with an attorney on. But if you're a sole proprietor or general partnership in Idaho and doing business under your first and last name, like John Smith, then you don't need to you don't need to register your business name. But if the business will operate under a doing business as or fictitious business name like John Smith's Handyman Service or Mr. Handyman, you'll need to register that assumed name with the Secretary of State. You'll also, some businesses will need to obtain an EIN number. It's referred to as the Federal Employer Identification Number. It's a 9-digit tax number that's issued to a business by the IRS. You can go to irs.gov to get that number. It's similar to a personal social security number, but used to identify a business. It's used for payroll taxes and identification. Partnerships, corporations, and LLCs or sole proprietorships with employees need to have an EIN number. A sole proprietorship or a single member LLC with no employees is not required to get an EIN number. In that situation, they would just use your social security number. If you're going to obtain an EIN number, you want to get that on irs.gov, not any third-party site. If you go to a site that's asking you to pay for an EIN number, you're not on the IRS site. It should not cost you anything to obtain an EIN number. And it only takes a few minutes and your number would be available immediately. You'll also want to check for local licenses throughout the state. There's no state license, but you'll want to check with cities and counties as to what their local requirements are. If you're collecting sales tax, you'll need to register with the tax authority, tax.idaho.gov. And if you have workers or employees, you'll need to register with the Department of Labor. So state regulations, again, Idaho does not have a single statewide business license, but there are state and federal agencies which regulate particular license and business activities. The city and county, you'll want to check with them individually because requirements vary by city and county as to if you need a business license in that city or not. Contractors in Idaho are required to be registered and carry liability insurance. And you can check out which businesses you're going to need an occupational license for. You can also do that and get a lot of information on the Business Wizard on the at www.business.idaho.gov. There's a nice flowchart style question that goes through and asks questions and then gives you an idea of where you need to check for licenses and what licenses you're probably going to have. So additional things you want to do in starting your business in Idaho are open a business account, choose your bookkeeping service. Again, look to your business insurance. You want to look at protecting your business products and names, create a business plan, and of course, we offer you can meet with a business coach who can help you with all of these things, creating your business plan and obtaining the things that you need to obtain to get started. So where do you go from here? You can start with a business plan. Again, we can help you with that. You can take some of the other live Zoom trainings that we have and find them on our website at nisbdc.com. And you can schedule with a business coach for no cost and confidential coaching. And I'm just going to check and see what kind of questions we have here. I see some of your questions have been answered.
Yeah, Katrina, the idea was asking about if husband and wife has an LLC, do they need the IAT number? If you want to add more to what I just said.
Oh, yes. So if you're working, it's a single member LLC, you don't need one, but yes, husband and wife, correct. And again, you want to check with your business coach, with your attorney to make sure you're setting it up properly in the beginning. Okay, I don't know that if anybody else has questions, you can throw them up now. Otherwise, I'm going to put up we've got some upcoming trainings that I wanted to share with you. So coming soon, we've got some webinars, the one I mentioned, and overcoming your legal pitfalls. Also, what's your business worth? This is more for someone who's looking to exit the business. So if there's someone you know that you want to share that information with, we've got one of those coming up. And then we have a business accelerator series that we run on a regular basis. The remaining classes for this October series that we're doing online are listed here. And for November, we have the same series that also includes marketing is the 4th class, marketing for profit, marketing strategies for profit. And that will be starting in November on Thursday evenings. And we hold that from 5:30 to 9.
Morgan has a question.
Wonderful. So I'm not planning on starting business until January of 2022, but can I apply for a business license before then? Well, since we're almost at the end of 2021, it seems that you can apply for your license at any time. And again, as we go through this, you'll want to sit with a coach and have them answer the additional questions that you'll have. Okay, Catherine or Corinne, I'm going to suggest that because your situation is individual, I'm going to suggest that you visit with one of our coaches because there's a couple of different ways you could go about that. Anybody else have a question? Yes, how do you get a coach? You can call our office at 208-665-5085 or go to our website, nisbdc.com. So give us a call. Anybody else have any other questions? We'd love to hear from you. Hope this was helpful to you. The email that you got for your confirmation or any of the emails, those all came directly from me. So if you'd like a copy of any of these slides, you have any additional questions, or you want to sign up for a coach, go ahead and email me back. Just the email that was sent out to you, you can get that straight. It goes straight back to me, and I'd be happy to help you. Thank you for coming today. We wish you the best in your business ventures and are happy to help you in any way that we can.